as we speak about future generations, most of us live in the day-to-day of Earth time. And we forget that we are on the Earth that resides floating in outer space. I guess the question to you is, what is it that your developments and your new works are bringing to the health aspect of how we're going to contend with this?
Well, what we've done is devise two devices. One is a layer of magnets where the magnets are very close together. They're block magnets, and they go under your mattress. And this quite dramatically enhances the Earth's magnetic field. There's three different levels. The one enhances it by 10 times, another one by 20, and the other by 40 times. And when you enhance the Earth's magnetic field while you sleep, you're actually enhancing the metabolism in the body, and that's what we've found. The increase in oxygen in the blood goes up within 20 minutes. We have increase in hormone levels. We've measured those things. All of those things are a result of enhanced metabolism going on in the body. So people with multiple problems such as fibromyalgia and arthritis and chronic fatigue and things like that are receiving help from this enhanced magnetic field.
I understand that you worked with Mr. Canada, who came to you.
Well, that was an interesting story. This is when we first started this, and I was working with athletes here because we could measure the effects on their performance. And he heard about this, and so he came to me and said, now look, I'm a science teacher originally, and I said, I don't believe in this at all, but he said, I've got a proposition for you. You give me one of those things, and I will measure myself, and if I can do more work with in other words, with no increase in heart rate, then I'll know that my blood is carrying more oxygen, and I'm actually this is enhancing my metabolism. So what we were measuring was heart rate and oxygen level, and in the amount of work he could do. And he was able. This is 6 weeks now. He was preparing for the World Championship. In 6 weeks, he was able to do 40% more work. In other words, lift that much more weight that much longer. In other words, he's talking about weight. He took a series of things that he could do, and he could do it 40% more than he could do it before. And he had no increase in heart rate. But his oxygen saturation went up considerably, and this is why he was able to do that. So that's just an indication of an enhanced metabolism in the body.
Now, there are a lot of people who have heard of magnets being very helpful to health. And there was a Japanese company, correct me if I'm wrong, that came out, was it Nikon? Came out with a bipolar field magnetic bed that had a positive and a negative charge. But what you're saying is that the new science, or the more effective science, has to do with a negatively charged unidirectional flow. Is that correct?
What you need to do is simulate the Earth magnetic field so that you're complementary to it, not going against it. See, the Chinese have been using magnets and magnetic pads for centuries, and this was a takeoff from what they were doing, but they realized that it was having the same effect on the body as acupuncture. So that's where I kind of got involved in this thing, because there was a university study going on here using one of their type of beds, and they were having great results at first, and then they disappeared with time over a 3-month period, and they wanted to know why. And so we did some experimentation here. I had an electronics company, and we showed that actually whenever you placed a magnet like in your hand, you could increase the electrical flow down the arm to the hand. You could also increase the blood flow, and that's where we started. And then Dr. Saul List later showed that you increase the production of endorphins by 45%, and secretin by 32%, and ACTH, which is the forerunner of adrenaline, by 17%. So these are all indications that you're creating an artificial emergency. So that bipolar field then does work on short term by creating an artificial emergency, but it isn't sustainable if the person has low vitality. If you have very high vitality, you can go on for a long period of time and still have a response from a bipolar field. But when you have a lower vitality, you have less response, and some people react immediately to the bipolar fields because it's overstraining an already overstrained brain, and they just don't feel good with it at all. So we have two types then of treatment with magnetism. One is the unidirectional field, like the Earth, going complementary to it, and the other one is a bipolar field. And when you place a magnet against the body, you will get a bipolar field because what goes in comes back around.
So does that mean that we shouldn't go out and all try to get magnets?
That means that if you're going to use them, you should use them for only short periods of time, and preferably less than an hour. There's 150 studies in Eastern Europe on this, and they showed that the best times for using them was only a half to 1 hour a day. We're talking about bipolar fields now for the best results.
Interesting. We're going to take a short commercial, and we'll be right back with It's Rainmaking Time, an interview with Dr. Dean Bonlie. It could be said that before God created light, God produced the creative energy of sound. And when God said, "Let there be light," all sound, music, and languages sprang forth. I can think of no one I know who has quite the ability to articulate both the complexity and elegant tapestry of the most ancient language other than Roberta Herzog. Please welcome Roberta Herzog as she introduces us to the most ancient library on earth, the Akashic Records. Good morning.
You've asked me about these Akashic Records, and the most important question that people ask is, what in the world are the Akashic Records? And my answer is kind of simple, that God, I really think, is a fantastic administrator. I've been thinking about this, and really, every religion, every true religion is taught that God knows the very heartbeat of our heart and the purpose of our soul's destiny. And He's caused a fabulous divine record to be made of our thoughts and words and deeds in every lifetime that we've ever lived. So in every generation, including this one, God has given a gift to a few men and women to be able to directly read these records. And the responsibility is awesome for those of us who read. That's the truth. So, and the reason that people seek this information, to me at any rate, is very simple. Because they're trying to solve the issues in their life, and they're treating effects, and the effects just don't work. And the effects include problems, situations with loved ones, issues with their health, their finances, their vocation, issues that seem now to be chronic in their lives, and they seem to be attracting these same issues over and over and over and over.
But isn't one of the key contributions of the Akashic Record readings is to be able to bring in a time dimensionality,
yes,
like a snapshot in time of
yes,
things that at the level of the soul we're dealing with that have nothing to do with this time or at this point in time.
That's the whole point.
As a solution delivery item.
Yes, absolutely. Kim, you're right on. A lot of people go to therapists, and the therapists use very good academic modalities to heal, but they run into a brick wall when they get into the causes that are past lifetime, and the people come for years and years and years trying to get effective therapy, and it doesn't work because the therapist can't break through the seal of forgetfulness, which is placed upon us mercifully at birth by an angel, that we forget our past lives. How can you live in seven different dimensions at one time and different realities? You wouldn't know who you are, what your name was. You'd be all confused.
That was probably one of the most beautiful pieces of your work, having to do with the seal of forgetfulness. No matter what religion we come from, whether we believe in this or not, that's in your book, The Akashic Records, Your Soul's Journey Through Time, by Roberta Herzog. Roberta, why don't you give people your contact information so if they have questions, they can go to your site and contact you.
I would love to do that. It's so thrilling to be on here. It's great.
Thank you for joining us.
My website is very simple. It's my name. It's www.robertaherzog.com, Herzog. And what we're working here is solutions. And past life solutions are given when other ways don't work and they don't get good results, Kim. And, I just want to say to the people that are listening that this is my 33rd consecutive year as a reader of the Akashic Records. It's a long time. It's a long time, and it's a privilege to serve.
Thank you very much.
To serve.
Thank you for being with It's Rainmaking Time. We look forward to hearing from you again. And
Thank you.
Please continue to tune in to Dr. D. Bonlie and It's Rainmaking Time.